Welcome to this webinar on the new WBCSD's capacity building program called BET, Business Ecosystem Training. So I am Violaine Berger, working for the WBCSD Ecosystem Focus Area and Water Project. And I've been working more specifically on this Business Ecosystem Training program for the past year. So today, this afternoon, we also have Owen Tong online with us from KPMG. KPMG has really played an important role in the development and road testing of this program, and Owen will be happy to answer all the questions you may have on that. So, as you may know, BET was launched recently on the 24th of February at an event that we organized in Geneva in collaboration with the IUCN and with the Geneva Environment Network. And it's really my pleasure to present today the program, how it can be used also within your organization or company. So first, just a bit of background on the WBCSD and the ecosystems. The WBCSD has been working on this topic, on ecosystems, for around 15 years now, and has developed a number of methodologies and tools that aim to increase business understanding of biodiversity and ecosystem services. And you may already know about the Ecosystem Services Review, or ESR, that was released in 2008, or the Guide to Corporate Ecosystem Valuation, or CEV, which was released last year. And BET is really the latest tool that we've developed. So what is BET? BET is a very comprehensive capacity building program that aims to equip business with the skills it needs to better understand, but also measure, manage, and mitigate ecosystem impacts and dependencies. So it's an instructor-led training program. It is designed to increase the knowledge and understanding of the links between business, ecosystems, and the services that ecosystems provide. So that leverages the wealth of existing WBCSD materials, methodologies, and tools, but also the material of other organizations. Also, an important point is that it's open source. All the material can be freely downloadable from the WBCSD website, and actually our only requirement is that there is a recognition of WBCSD as intellectual property when using the training program. So why have we developed BET? Well, first, because ecosystems are an important topic. Well, actually all businesses not only impact ecosystems and ecosystem services, but also depend upon them. For example, fresh water is a critical input for every major industrial processes. Agribusiness and the food sector depend on ecosystem services like pollination, pest or erosion control. All extractive industries cause also some level of ecosystem disturbance. And in fact, it's hard to think of any ecosystem activity that does not benefit from ecosystem services or alter, degrade the ecosystems around it. So, well, ecosystems is an important topic for business, but however, this issue tends to be poorly understood. While some companies are already tackling the issue and are assessing their impacts and dependencies and also are trying to mitigate their impacts on ecosystems, some of the companies are just looking at one single aspect of ecosystems. For example, just focusing on water exclusively or just focusing on GHG. And these companies are missing the big picture. So there's really a gap between companies, a gap of knowledge and understanding. But we've also identified some knowledge gaps within companies. While for example, in some companies, the sustainable development department really understands well the issue. Many other departments don't, well, they lack the knowledge and understanding of the ecosystem issue, and as a contact center are not able to tackle the issue properly. So we've identified these gaps, and we thought that, well, developing this capacity building program would help fill the gaps. So how is that structured? So that is structured around 4 modules that are 4 hours each. And these modules drill down into the topic according to the learner's needs. The first, module 1, is about the basics. It's really about understanding the links between ecosystem services, and the module 2 is about assessing impacts and dependencies, and it introduces the Corporate Ecosystem Services Review, ESR, a methodology that was co-developed by the WBCSD together with the World Resources Institute and the Meridian Institute. Module 3 introduces the concepts and principles of ecosystem valuation and a guide to corporate ecosystem valuation, or CEV, which is a framework to improve business decision-making through valuing ecosystems. And the last module, module 4, introduces how ecosystem impacts can be managed and mitigated. So it's a total of 2.5 days of training. But we recommend that the training is split in 2 parts of the minimum, especially if participants are beginners, because it's a lot of new knowledge, of new concepts to learn, and delivering all the 4 modules in one go could be quite difficult for beginners. Also, an important point to highlight is that that is PowerPoint based. All the material is in PowerPoint, and as a consequence, it's customizable. So you can take the module that you want, you can take the sessions that you're interested in each module, and you can then tailor your own training program. You can also translate that in another language, or you can also customize it to a specific sector or a specific region as well. So who is it for? It's basically for everyone, for a business audience, but for everyone in a company. But it also depends on the company's level of achievement in ecosystems, and also the needs of individual employees. So depending on the needs, depending on the training objective, you will use either module 1 or module 1 and 2, or from module 1 to module 4. Well, for just as an example, while some companies have been really working on the topics on the ecosystem agenda for the past 15 years, and they know well the basic concepts, they're also looking at the impact, dependencies, etc. So for these companies, you can focus just on module 4, for example, about managing and mitigating business impacts on ecosystems. Well, some other companies are really new to the agenda, and they really need to understand the basics, so they can first begin with module 1. And also, depending on the level of knowledge of the employees internally, you can use the different modules depending on the needs. And so, as a consequence, the potential audience includes not only the sustainable development department, or the health, safety, and environmental specialists, but also employees working in other departments such as procurement, finance, or even local site managers. So you will find further details about the audience of that in a document called the Facilitator Notes, and I'm going to introduce you this document in a few minutes. So how was that developed? It was developed under the steering of an advisory committee that is made of member companies, regional network partners, but also academic institutions, NGOs, and UN-related organizations. And these advisory committee members not only advise us on the overall strategy of BET, but also on the content itself. So they reviewed and approved all the content. The curriculum itself was designed by KPMG, And together with KPMG, we organize regular calls with the advisory committee in order to collect feedback from members and to make sure that we were developing the right tool and that what we were developing was really fitting members' needs. So we also pilot tested bets. Last year, the first pilot test was done in Munich during our WBCSD members meeting, and then we organized a pilot test for the full program for the 4 modules in Lisbon, and well, attendees including member companies, regional network partners, etc., and also NGOs. And some WBCSD members also pilot tested the program, Hitachi, DuPont, and KPMG as well. Well, IUCN was part of the advisory committee, and more specifically, IUCN the Netherlands showed a particular interest in that, and they also pilot tested Module 1 and Module 2. We also organized a training session here in Geneva that we filmed. It was just on Module 3. And the objective of this film training session was really to generate some material that can be used during webinars, such as today's webinar, and members meetings. And I will show you later some of these videos. So what's in the BET package? So concretely, what's BET? So first, what we've developed is, well, presentation material, of course. We've developed very comprehensive PowerPoint packs. So there are approximately 100 slides per module, and from which, well, facilitators can choose when they customize the course to their training needs. The strength of that also lies in the fact that it comes with a very comprehensive guidance material. So we first developed an implementation guide, which explains the business case for BET, how BET is structured, the audience, and it also contains additional tips to run the training. We've also developed some facilitator notes for each module, and they contain all information that facilitators need to know to be able to run a training themselves. There's also some complementary material that we've developed, such as a glossary of terms, a list of acronyms, and frequently asked questions. And we are also currently finalizing a short executive overview presentation of BET, which is 1 hour presentation and focuses on the risks and opportunities linked to ecosystems. And this short presentation can be used to, for example, to convince top management about the business case for action on ecosystems. It could be used as well to give an introduction to operation managers about why ecosystems matter and possible actions. So this is not available yet, but we'll upload it on our website well, by the end of the month. So all of these documents, the implementation guide, facilitator notes, glossary of terms, and FAQs are freely available on our website. Another material that we are currently finalizing is facilitation tips video. So it's additional facilitation tips that are well, illustrated by videos, and that will upload as well on our website by the end of April. So just to come back to the facilitator notes, they are the Bible of the program. They're very comprehensive. They first include a detailed timetable of the modules, so you can see the exact timing of the different sessions. Because well, each module is split into different sessions. There are around 10 to 11 sessions per module. And in the facilitator notes, you'll find also the session's objectives, explanations of the format of the session, the documents to hand out, etc. And You will also find in these notes all useful information for facilitators to run a training session, such as instruction to run exercises, background information on the topic, references also to know more about the topic. So these are very thick documents, very comprehensive, and this is really the basis to run a training program. Oh, I'm seeing, I've got a message from Owen saying that sometimes he's losing the sound. Well, I don't know what I can do. I'll try to speak maybe louder. I hope the internet connection is okay. Let me know if you want me to repeat some of the slides because you couldn't hear them properly. So about delivering bets, well, actually, these facilitator notes that are very important documents are made in such a way that professionals with a good background in environment and sustainability are able to deliver the course by themselves and to tailor it to their specific needs. So our recommendation is that the course is delivered by 2 facilitators. First, a specialist with a background in environment and sustainability. So it could be a professional from the Sustainable Development Department, but it could also be someone external, for example, an environmental expert from an NGO, for example. And also a second facilitator who is an experienced facilitator with a background in learning and development. So it could be a professional from your training department. Well, module 3 is actually more technical because it's about ecosystems valuation. And for module 3, you could consider using also an environmental economist so that the module is presented in a more effective manner as well. And more generally, well, facilitators should of course be familiar with running workshops or with standard training techniques as well. So when planning for a training session, well, facilitators should first identify what are the learning objectives and also clarify the audience. Because the more targeted the audience is, the more effective the training will be. Because that, for example, can be used to get as many employees as possible thinking about what ecosystems mean within their work. It could also be used to convince top management of the business case for action, or it could be used to train sustainable development specialists on the different tools and methodologies that exist in this area. So it's very important that you first think about the training objectives, the audience, and then that you well, build your training according to the identified objectives and audience. One last point is about exercises. They are really key, and actually the strength of BETS lies in the fact that it's interactive, it's jam-packed with exercises, and participants in the training are required to be active at all times. And well, in a few minutes I'm going to show you some videos of the exercises that were run during the training session that we organized in Geneva. And you will see what kind of exercises we've used. So this training session was organized actually on the 3rd of February. It was for the WBCSD colleagues, but also members and partners. And we filmed this training. The objective was really to generate some material that we could use during information webinars such as today's webinars and during meetings on that. So there were 15 participants, and the session was facilitated by Stephanie Heim and Stuart McMahon from KPMG. And I would really like to warmly thank KPMG for allowing us to use these videos, because they are really useful. And I also wanted to highlight the fact that if you have questions on facilitation or on how to also organize the training session with KPMG internally, you can also contact Stephanie Heim and Stuart McMahon, and they would be happy to answer your questions. And as I've also highlighted at the beginning of the call, Owen Tong from KPMG is also attending this webinar, and will be happy to answer your questions at the end of my presentation. So, facilitating training sessions. So there are a number of points that you should be aware of when facilitating a training. So the first point is that you should, at the beginning of the session, you should set ground rules. You should remind participants of the rules of the session. For example, the fact that there's no phone, no emails. Participants shouldn't use their emails while attending the session. The fact also that there are no stupid questions, etc. So I'm going to show you a short video about this. And it's a video showing how Stephanie Heim from KPMG has set ground rules during the training session on the 3rd of February. So I hope you were able to see the video properly and to hear the sound. Just in case you had difficulties with the internet connection, I'll send you this presentation actually, which contains all the YouTube links to the video so that you can also look at the videos afterwards. So this was the first rule, setting ground rules. A second tip is about creating group dynamic. It's really important so that the training session is really lively. And one suggestion is to divide participants into small groups and to get them compete for a prize. And for example, in the training session on the 3rd of February, we had them to compete for a box of chocolates. And it has really helped putting some energy into the room. So I'll show you a video related to that. So this is, well, the briefing of the exercise of this training session, and we had two groups competing against each other. They had to list what they had heard during a short video that was shown to them just before, and then they had to, and the group that came up with the longest list was, gaining the more points, and in the end, winning the prize, the box of chocolates. Another up facilitation tip. Well, make your presentation as interactive as possible. This is really critical, or else, well, participants will tend to, well, not sleep, but they will pay less attention as well to what you say. And an example of what you can do is when introducing new concepts, you can ask what participants think it's all about. And this is a technique that Stephanie Heim has used when introducing the concept of private good versus public good, and I'm going to show you a short video on it. So as Stephanie highlighted, well, what was important in this exercise was that participants were really thinking about the definition of a public good and private good, even if they had no clue about it. The objective of the exercise was really to have them think about it, and then when she was explaining afterwards what it was all about, participants could remember more easily the definition because they had to think about it previously. So it's a very good learning technique, a very good facilitation technique, actually. I've got another short video demonstrating this. So here really the purpose was really to get some more energy in the room, to get participants think about, well, yeah, it was the year when the first environmental law came into what was put in place in the UK. And having them being active is really a way to keep their attention focused. Another facilitation tip, recap learnings. Well, it's really important that facilitators regularly explain to participants what they've seen so far and what they're going to learn next, just for them to be able to understand the structure of the training. And I'll show you then now a short video where Stuart McMahon did a short recap of what the participants had learned so far. I also just wanted to highlight the fact that in all the modules you'll find slides that are recap slides that list the different topics that are tackled in the different modules, and where there's some some small tips showing what participants have learned so far. So you've got already the slides in the slide packs. And now the last facilitation tip gives concrete examples. Well, examples are really critical as they help understand what it's all about. And here I'm going to show you another video. It was when Stephanie Heim was explaining some evaluation techniques. So it was a quite technical slide. And then she gave very concrete examples of what it means. And it really helped participants to grasp what it was all about. So here I just wanted to show you the explanation of travel costs, but afterwards Stephanie also gave some kind of example for hedonic pricing for all the valuation techniques. So these were just a few examples of facilitation tips, and what we're currently doing is that we're building a longer list of facilitation tips that are illustrated by short videos. And as I've highlighted before, we'll upload everything on our website by the end of the month. And really the objective is to demonstrate how a best training session can be facilitated, and also to encourage members to use that, to use the material and to deliver the training either themselves or going through a consultant company or in partnerships with NGOs, etc., etc. So what are our plans for this year? Well, we've got three objectives. The first one is to raise the awareness of pets within members and regional network partners. So the webinar today is really meant to raise awareness about the material and about how that can be delivered. We are also communicating externally to other organizations and other NGOs on that, so that they are aware that the material is there and that they can use it as well. Another objective is to increase the number of BET users, of course, to get more member companies using BET, delivering the training themselves, but we're also going to deliver some training to members, and this year in particular to the structure leaders team. And ultimately what we want to do is to increase the uptake of the concepts and methodologies and tools that are introduced in BET. So the timeline for this year, so you can see that, well, we've launched BET on the 24th of February. We're currently doing some awareness calls. So we had the first webinars on the 29th of February, and today on the 4th of April, we're having, well, we're having 2 calls actually. We had 1 call in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. During our members meeting in Montreux, we'll have a 2-hour briefing session on that. And it will be together with Stephanie Hyman and Chuck McDonald from KPMG, who will also participate in this session. So I hope you'll be able to join. And also, as I just said, well, the future leaders teams, well, together this year actually there's 25 participants, and they're working on ecosystems, and they will be attending best training sessions in Montreux during our member meeting, but also in Washington during another meeting that they're having in Washington. We're also going to communicate externally during the main conservation events that will be held this year. So first, the World Conservation Congress, the IUCN's big conference. We are going to carry out one side event called the Conservation Campus. It will be targeted at NGO, and the purpose is really to introduce that to the NGO community. And we'll have some awareness-raising activities during the 11th conference of the parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity. And we are also discussing with members and with regional network partners about training sessions. And regarding regional network partners, we are discussing with our Brazil partners, WBCSD, with India as well, and with Korea. And we're also discussing with advisory committee members about the rollout, about how they're planning to leverage that. So that's about it for our program this year. Question and answer. I would be curious to know if there's some questions. I'd be happy to answer questions. And Owen from KPMG is also online to answer your questions. So I know that, Kathleen, you don't have the mic, but if you want, you can send us a question via the chat function. And the thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to unmute you, and I'm going to unmute Owen as well. If you want to ask questions about what I've just presented, or if you've got already some ideas of how you'd like to leverage the material, I'd be really curious to hear them. Any questions, remarks? Well, if not, well, please don't hesitate anyway to send me your questions or your requests by email afterwards. I'd be happy to follow up with you. And just before I end this webinar, I just wanted to conclude with, well, this slide. Why should you use that? Kind of promotion slide. First, because it's comprehensive. It's a very comprehensive training program. So 4 modules of 4 hours each, and it covers really the main issues about the link between business and ecosystems. And also it introduces all the tools and methodologies that you need to know to better understand, but also measure and mitigate impact and dependencies on ecosystems. Also, why use that? Because it's customizable. It's PowerPoint based, so it's really easy to use, it's easy to customize, easy to translate. For example, to a specific company, or it's easy to customize to a specific company or a specific sector. And also, well, another strength of the program is that it's packed with exercises. It's really the strength of the program. It's very interactive, and the majority of the sessions include an exercise. So, just to conclude, well, ecosystems are really a hot topic for any organization, and we hope that that will help companies and partners as well to include ecosystems issues into their strategies. So, well, thank you for attending this webinar. I hope this was useful, and I'm also looking forward to seeing you maybe in Montreux if you're going to attend Montreux. I also wanted to thank Owen for participating in this webinar. It was great to have you online, Owen, and thank you also for working on that. I know you were really involved in all the development of the materials. So have a great end of day, and hope to hear from you soon. Bye.